Traditionally, SUVs has always been that matchbox design with an engine up front and 4 wheels to keep it in motion. Well, over the years, not every box has been made the same. But what if I tell you that there is one SUV in the Indian market which redefines body-on-frame architecture with the most modern design? And yes, I'm talking about the all-new Ford Endeavour. It's really a pat on the back for Ford for keeping the new Endeavour design old school boxy but still managing to look so modern. The front is very imposing thanks to the tough looking trapezoidal grille. The side profile continues to be having that muscular feel to it. The rear is not as imposing as the rest of the body angles, but overall the Endeavour is surely a good looking SUV. Ford has developed this SUV at its Asia Pacific headquarters in Melbourne, Australia. They did not want this car to be an SUV version of its pickup truck Ranger. They wanted this car to have its own identity. Well, let's get into driving and let's find out. Ford offers this SUV in 2 engine variants, namely the 2.2 litre diesel and the 3.2 litre diesel which we are driving here. This is having approximately 200 horsepower and 470 Newton meters of torque. And boy, this car feels quick. It's really strange that something this big can be so quick and agile. Right now I've been driving on the highway, but let me tell you that in city, the engine gearbox combo feels perfectly aligned to fill those little small gaps you want to fill during those overtaking maneuvers. The torque is actually accessible from as low as 1800 RPM, which is really good for this large engine. The gearbox has really decently spec'd ratios to take advantage of this torque-rich engine. I have read in some reviews that the gearbox is not that quick and there's no DCT feel to it. For a car this big in size, I think the gear shifts are pretty good and pretty quick as well. I don't think I have any complaints in the gearbox department. As we are talking about the gearbox here, well, the turbo lag is also kept pretty much in control, thanks that the torque is easily available just under 2000 RPM, maybe under around 1800 RPM. So yes, definitely it is a lag-free engine to say so. As we know that this 3.2 litre is a 5-cylinder engine. Well, we are more used to the 4, 6, 8, 10 kind of configuration. This 5-cylinder feels a bit odd. To be honest, right now I'm not really sure whether I should be happy that I have 1 cylinder more than the 4-cylinder, or I should be sad that it is 1 cylinder short of being a 6-cylinder. But at the end of the day, it sounds definitely much better than a 4-cylinder, which is really a good point and actually making the driving feel a lot more enjoyable. As we are talking about the driving involvement, I really believe that the tachometer should have been on the left side. I just don't know what is it doing on the right side of the speedometer. Well, also it is a digital readout. I believe the analog would have been a much nicer touch. Well, coming to the handling now, as we know that this SUV is having a long travel suspension. So considering that and keeping that in mind, the handling is pretty good and encouraging to drive fast to a certain extent. But yes, it's no sporty handler. You always are alarmed that you're driving a big car. And personally, I feel it is definitely a much better handling car than something like a Fortuner. So no complaints in that department as well. The steering is an electronic power steering unit, and it does definitely weigh up decently well on the highway. But it is the city where it is a joy to use. The maneuverability what the steering offers to actually take U-turns or probably put the car into tight parking spots, it's really amazing. Coming to the next USP of the Endeavour, is its ride quality. Well, the ride quality is so good that it feels like a dream, and definitely it is way better than its arch rival, the Fortuner again. The suspension seems to be designed to keep people in mind and not cargo in mind, the way it seems in Fortuner. That being a Hilux SUV, though this being a Ranger SUV, this has been actually modified enough to make the ride quality feel more car-like, and it's really a pat on the back for Ford for keeping the ride quality so good. Also, the refinement levels are really good of this engine. The NVH levels are kept in check properly. The credit also goes to the noise cancellation technology which the Endeavour has been equipped with. As far as braking is concerned, the car is having an all-round disc setup, and the brakes are definitely adequate and powerful enough. But if I had to criticize the brakes, I would criticize the brake pedal, wherein I feel the brake pedal is a bit on the spongier side and it lacks a bit of feel. that won't stop you from buying the car, will it? I'm sure not. So moving ahead, another quick negative which I want to point out here is the tires are MRF Wanderer all-terrains. I just don't understand why Ford offered this with the Endeavour. Well, mind you, these tires are good, but there are definitely better tires in the market. For example, when the Fortuner came in, it came in with the Dunlops. So there was no need of localization by Ford when it comes to tires. So there are better options what Ford could have opted for. Well, as we now know that the new Endeavour is really good on-road. What about off-it? Well, gone is the traditional 4x4 lever, and in comes this Land Rover-ish terrain management system. What this terrain management system does, I have a small presentation lined up in theory. So before we head out and test the terrain management system practically, let's get to the basics and understand all the modes what the terrain management system by Ford has to offer. So the first up is the gravel, grass and snow mode. As definitely the name suggests, it has to be used in these environments, and it will give you sharper throttle response, earlier gear shifts, which will result in more low-end torque. The next up is sand mode. As the name suggests, it is the best to be used over desert dunes or over sandy trail roads. What it will do is, it will give you extra throttle sensitivity, which will help you maintain a steady pace. Another application of sand mode is when you want to do river crossing. As the surface on the riverbed is sandy in nature, it will really help you maintain that momentum which is really required when you're wading or doing a river crossing. The last and the most extreme setting is the rock mode. This definitely is the most serious setting in the terrain management system. To engage rock mode, you will have to put the gear lever in neutral and then press the low range button. Thanks to the Endeavour's active transfer case and torque on demand, it will decide which wheel gets the most power and limits the slip accordingly. So the terrain management system really simplifies going off-road dramatically. I really feel that there should have been an auto mode offered for people with little less off-road experience, wherein the car should have been allowed to automatically understand which terrain it is in and do the adjustments accordingly. The other off-road artillery what the Endeavour is equipped with, and it is having the hill descent control and the hill launch assist. The ground clearance of Endeavour is at 225 mm and it has a class-leading wading capacity of 800 mm. The other important figures to note before going off-roading is that the Endeavour is having a 29 degree of approach angle, the breakover angle stands at 21 degrees and the departure angle is at 25 degrees. So that is enough of theory now, let's get to the practicals. Alright guys, I think I found myself a close construction site here, and looking at the terrain, I think I may need to shift to the sand mode. Right, so let's see how the new Endeavour performs. First things first, there seems to be a lot of travel in this suspension, and it seems the long travel suspension is really helping the Endeavour go through. The sandy trail road was cleared without much drama, and now it was time to put the Endeavour through a little more difficult trail. Right, so the terrain ahead looks slightly a bit worrying to me. So without actually risking it, I'm just going to politely put the car into the rock mode, which is the most extreme setting the Endeavour has, for which I'll have to put the car into neutral and press the 4x4 low button here, and we're ready to go. So far it's so good. And we are through. That was so smooth. Right, so now we are at a location which was supposed to be a river crossing, and now though the water level seems less, but still I do see some water, and I'm silently going to be putting the car into sand mode considering the riverbed. So here we go. Okay, after the river crossing, and speaking of dry river beds, we have finally found a spot where we can test the car on its rock mode. And as the terrain is really demanding, I think I'm going to switch to the 4x4 low again, and I'm going to lock the diffs as well. Wow. Sadly, we could not test the Endeavour in slushy conditions, but whatever little off-roading we did, the Endeavour performed effortlessly. The interiors are premium and practical at the same time. Especially love the leather top dashboard. Also, it's really impressive that most of the features from the Thai spec Endeavour are present on the titanium variant here in India. The infotainment is through a slow 8-inch touchscreen module, which has a brilliant sounding 10-speaker sound system. It misses the GPS though, but there are features like customizable ambient lighting package, which really is a nice touch. For safety, the Endeavour is equipped with ABS and EBD, electronic stability program, traction control system, and has a total of 7 airbags. The driver's seat is powered, but the steering cannot be adjusted for reach. Okay, right now I'm sitting in the middle of the Ford Endeavour, and let me tell you, the front seat is adjusted according to my height. And definitely, first things first, the Endeavour has a very good seat, and it perfectly cushions you with comfort. Now coming to the negative, yes, it feels a bit cramped compared to the Fortuner, specifically the headroom, and you wouldn't like your hair being brushed on the roof. But to compensate there, you have to recline these seats behind, so that will definitely create more headroom, and that is a good fix for this small little problem. Legroom is also there, pretty much in acceptable limits. It is pretty spacious car, and I don't think there is any much of complaint here. Right now I'm in the third row of the Ford Endeavour. You definitely don't want to know how I managed myself coming into the third row. The middle row had to be pushed slightly forward to accommodate some toe room here, and the headroom is still tight. One negative here is that the seat cannot be reclined. Competition seats like in the Fortuner, the third row can be reclined, and that definitely gives that extra little bit of headroom. So right now I'm out of the third row, and as we know that this middle row is 60-40 split. Sadly, the 40 side of split is on the right side of the road, and definitely it should be not on the street side but on the footpath side. So that way it is not a wise thing to have this 40 split on the right side of the road. We Indians like buttons, and in the boot of the Ford Endeavour there are 2 such buttons, which is practicality. And with the push of these buttons, the seats automatically fold down or come up as per your need. Also, this button here electronically folds the tailgate, and in that time you can go and take your seat. So after putting the Endeavour through its paces, both on and off-road, I truly believe that it's a rugged and truly a masculine SUV. Its unshakable toughness and technological prowess blend the right amount of features with style to give the end consumer a proper luxury SUV with great off-road capabilities. If I were to describe the new Endeavour in one word, it would be unbeatable.